Twilight Registry. Case file TR7891. Classification: structural anomaly. Persistent occupancy without registered guest. Date of initial report: March 3rd. Location: the Harlan Hotel, 188 Commerce Boulevard, Ashford, Connecticut. Room number 614. Reporting party: Dana Marsh, night auditor. Status: open. This is the case file. The Harlan Hotel is a 7-story, 20-room property built in 1987, last renovated in 2014. It operates at approximately 6% occupancy on weeknights and 85% on weekends. Room 642 is a standard king room on the 6th floor, southeast corner, positioned at the end of the hallway opposite the elevator bank. It has been listed as vacant and out of order since September of last year, due to a reported plumbing issue. The plumbing issue was resolved in October. The room was not returned to inventory. No reason was documented. On March 3rd, night auditor Dana Marsh submitted an incident report stating that room 642's door had been found ajar during her 2 a.m. walkthrough. The door was not unlocked. The electronic lock was engaged and showed a green ready light. The door was physically open, approximately 4 inches. Marsh closed the door. It latched. She continued her rounds. At 4 a.m., she passed the room again. The door was open 4 inches. She closed it again. At 5:30 a.m., she passed a third time. The door was closed. She noted this in her log as a possible latch malfunction and submitted a maintenance request. Maintenance arrived at 8 a.m. Technician Roy Alderman entered room 642 with a master key. His report, filed the same day, contained the following observations. The room was clean. The bed was made. The linens appeared fresh. The towels: 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths, were arranged on the rack in standard hotel presentation. The toilet had been flushed recently. The shower was damp. The mirror had a light film of condensation that had not yet fully evaporated. The air conditioning was set to 71 degrees. The television was off. The remote was on the nightstand, oriented with the infrared emitter facing the TV. The trash can was empty. The ice bucket was empty. The minibar was stocked and the seal was intact. There was no luggage, no personal items, no clothing. The room appeared to have been prepared for a guest, but not yet occupied. Or it appeared to have been occupied and then restored to its prepared state by someone who knew the housekeeping protocol exactly. Roy Alderman noted one anomaly. The shower drain contained a single strand of dark hair, approximately 14 inches long, wrapped around the drain cover. He removed it and disposed of it. He reset the Do Not Disturb indicator on the door handle. He locked the door. He filed his report and marked the room as cleared. On March 4th, Dana Marsh submitted a second incident report. At 2 a.m., room 614's door was open 4 inches again. The electronic lock was engaged. She closed the door. At 4:07 a.m., she saw a figure in the hallway. The figure was standing outside room 614, facing the door. It was a woman. She was wearing a white blouse and dark pants. She was carrying a handbag. Her hair was dark, shoulder length. Marsh could not see her face. The woman was facing the door. and the hallway lighting at that end was dim. Marsh called out. The woman did not respond. Marsh approached. As she got within approximately 15 feet of the figure, the woman turned, not toward Marsh, but sideways, and walked into room 614 through the closed door. Marsh ran to the door. It was closed. The electronic lock showed green. She used her master key to enter. The room was empty. The bed was made. The towels were fresh. The shower was damp. The mirror had condensation. The AC was set to 71. There was no one in the room. There was no one in the bathroom. There was no one in the closet. Marsh checked under the bed. She checked behind the curtains. She checked the connecting door to room 616, which was locked on both sides. The room was empty. Marsh noted in her report that the hair she had not seen on the previous visit was present again. A single dark strand on the shower drain cover, wrapped in the same way, approximately the same length. On March 5th, the hotel's general manager, a man named Paul Kessler, reviewed both incident reports and the maintenance log. He instructed Roy Alderman to change the lock on room 614 and to seal the door with a security tag. Alderman replaced the lock mechanism and applied a tamper-evident seal across the door frame at 11 a.m. At 2 a.m. on March 6th, Dana Marsh found the door open 4 inches. The security tag was broken. The new lock was engaged, but showed the door had been opened and relocked from the inside. The towels were fresh. The shower was damp. The hair was on the drain. This is where the case becomes relevant to the registry. Marsh did not report the third incident immediately. Instead, she began her own observation. She positioned herself in the hallway at 1:30 a.m. on March 6th, hidden behind the ice machine alcove, approximately 40 feet from room 614's door. She waited. At 3:48 a.m., the door to room 614 opened from the inside. It opened approximately 4 inches, the same gap she had observed each night. A figure stepped into the hallway. It was the same woman. Dark hair, white blouse, dark pants, handbag. She was facing away from Marsh. She walked to the elevator bank. Marsh could hear her footsteps, a distinct, measured heel click on the carpet, which should have been muffled. The figure pressed the elevator call button. The light activated. The elevator arrived. The figure stepped inside. The doors closed. Marsh ran to the elevator. She pressed the call button. The elevator arrived. She entered. The elevator was empty. The floor indicator showed it had gone to the lobby. Marsh went to the lobby. The front desk clerk on duty, a man named Victor Tran, was at the desk. Marsh asked if anyone had come through the lobby. Tran said no. Marsh asked if the front door had opened. Tran said no. Marsh asked if the security cameras showed anything. Tran pulled up the feed. The camera covering the lobby showed no one entering or leaving between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. The camera covering the 6th floor hallway showed no one in the corridor between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. The camera covering the elevator showed the interior of the elevator at 3:51 a.m. It was empty. The floor indicator showed the elevator had not moved. It was on the 6th floor the entire time. Marsh returned to the 6th floor at 5 a.m. Room 64's door was closed. The lock showed green. She did not open it. On March 7th, Marsh submitted her report. Kessler contacted the registry. Our field investigator Martin Cross arrived at the Harlan Hotel on March 9th. He conducted the following operations. He inspected room 64 in daylight. The room was unremarkable. Clean, prepared, no signs of occupancy. The shower drain was dry and clear. The AC was off. The curtains were drawn. The bed was made with hospital corners. Cross noted that the room had a slight odor, not unpleasant, not identifiable. He described it in his notes as the smell of a room that has just been cleaned, that specific chemical freshness. Except it was too strong for a room that had been vacant for 6 months. It smelled like a room that had been cleaned that morning. He inspected the hallway. The carpet showed no wear pattern leading to or from room 614. The door frame showed no damage beyond the broken security tag, which was still in place. The lock was functional. Cross sealed the door with a registry containment tag, a tamper-evident seal with a unique serial number that photographs differently under UV light. He installed a recording device, a small, silent camera with motion activation. Positioned in the hallway alcove, pointed at room 614's door. He set it to record continuously. He also placed a micro-environmental sensor inside the room, a device that measures temperature, humidity, air pressure, and the presence of particulate matter. The sensor was disguised as a smoke detector battery. He checked out of the hotel at 2 p.m. and monitored the feed remotely. At 1 a.m. on March 10th, the camera activated. The motion sensor triggered. The hallway was empty. No figure, no movement. But the camera's infrared mode captured a thermal signature. A heat bloom in the shape of a standing person, positioned directly in front of room 614's door. The thermal signature persisted for 19 minutes. At 1:19 a.m., the door to room 614 opened from the inside. The thermal signature moved through the doorway. The door closed. The thermal signature was no longer visible in the hallway. Cross checked the in-room sensor. At 1:19 a.m., the room's temperature rose from 68 degrees to 74 degrees. The humidity increased by 12%. The particulate matter sensor detected an increase in airborne particulates consistent with a human occupant. Skin cells, fabric fibers, exhaled moisture. At 1:20 a.m., the shower activated. The water ran for 8 minutes. At 1:28 a.m., the shower stopped. At 1:31 a.m., the room temperature began to decrease. At 1:33 a.m., the humidity decreased. At 1:35 a.m., the particulate matter levels returned to baseline. The shower water ran for 8 minutes. The drain sensor detected water flow. The water was warm. It drained normally. The plumbing was functional. At 4:02 a.m., the door to room 642 opened from the inside. The thermal camera captured the figure stepping into the hallway, a standing heat signature, approximately 5 feet 7 inches tall, humanoid proportions. The figure walked to the elevator. The thermal signature moved down the hallway. The elevator camera showed no one inside. The lobby camera showed no one. The figure disappeared from thermal imaging at the elevator bank. The elevator did not move. The thermal signature simply ceased to exist. Cross retrieved the recordings and sensor data on March 11th. He inspected the room. The shower was damp. The mirror had condensation. The towels were fresh. The hair was on the drain. He submitted his findings. The case remains open. Registry note dated March 15th. Cross conducted a database search for all registered guests of the Harlan Hotel who stayed in room 614 in the 5 years prior to the room being taken out of inventory. The room was last officially occupied by a guest named Miranda who checked in on May 14th of last year and checked out on May 17th. She was traveling alone. She paid in cash. She left no contact information. She made no complaints. She made no special requests. The housekeeping staff remembered nothing unusual. Cross attempted to locate Miranda Sue. She has no current address on file. Her driver's license was issued in 2019 and expired in 2023. She has no tax filings since 2021. She has no credit activity. She has no phone number. She has no social media presence. She appears to have ceased to exist as a documented person on or around May 17th of last year, the day she checked out of room 6014 at the Harlan Hotel. The room is still vacant. The door still opens at 3:33 a.m. The shower still runs. The figure still walks to the elevator. The towels are still fresh every morning. Housekeeping has been instructed not to enter the room. The room is not listed on any booking platform. The room is not listed on the hotel's own reservation system. The room number on the 6th floor is 614. It is printed on the door in brass numerals. It is printed on the floor plan in the emergency exit frame. It is printed on the registry's manifest of active anomalies. There is no guest registered in room 614. There has never been a guest registered in room 614. The hotel's reservation system shows no record of the room ever being sold to anyone. Miranda Sue's reservation does not appear in any database. The hotel has no record of ever hosting a guest named Miranda Sue. The only evidence that she existed is the hair on the drain, which reappears every morning, and the figure that leaves the room every night at 4 a.m. and walks to the elevator and disappears. The registry's current assessment is that room 614 has always been occupied. The room was not built in 1987. The room was not part of the original construction. The room is not on the original blueprints. The room exists in a space that should contain a linen closet. The linen closet is on the 7th floor, directly above. It is aligned with room 614. Both rooms occupy the same footprint on different floors. Both rooms are accessible. Both rooms are real. Both rooms are occupied. The linen closet by Linens and room 614 by Miranda Sue, who checked in on May 14th and has not yet checked out. Cross recommended that the room be reclassified from structural anomaly to persistent occupancy, and that the case be flagged for long-term monitoring. The recommendation was accepted. The room remains active. The figure remains present. The towels remained fresh. Registry status: open. No intervention recommended. The guest is still in the room. The guest has always been in the room. Do not disturb the guest. Registry addendum dated March 22nd. Martin Cross returned to the Harlan Hotel for a follow-up inspection. He entered room 614 at 10 a.m. with hotel management present. The room was as expected: clean, prepared, unoccupied. Cross placed a new sensor array and a second camera, this time inside the room, positioned to capture the bed, the bathroom door, and the hallway door. At 3:33 a.m. on March 23rd, the internal camera activated. The room was empty. The bed was made. The door was closed. At 3:34 a.m., the shower turned on. The camera captured the bathroom. The shower was running. The curtain was closed, and behind the curtain, through the translucent fabric, a silhouette was visible, standing, motionless. The silhouette did not move for the entire duration of the shower. The water ran for 8 minutes. At 3:42 a.m., the shower stopped. The curtain was pulled back. The bathroom was empty. No one was standing in the shower. The drain was wet. The mirror was fogged. The towels were used. One bath towel was damp, as though it had been pressed against skin. At 4:02 a.m., the hallway door opened from the inside. The thermal camera in the hallway captured the figure exiting. The internal camera captured the door closing behind the figure. The room was empty. The bed was still made. The shower was still damp. Cross reviewed the footage, frame by frame. Between 3:42 a.m., when the shower stopped and the curtain was pulled back to reveal an empty bathroom, and 4:02 a.m., when the figure exited through the hallway door, the internal camera recorded 20 minutes of an empty room. In those 20 minutes, the bathroom fog dissipated. The shower dripped. The room was silent, except for one frame. At 3:51 a.m., a single frame was captured, in which the mirror above the bathroom sink showed a reflection. The mirror should have reflected the empty bathroom. Instead, it reflected a woman standing in the shower, facing the mirror, holding a handbag. She was wearing a white blouse and dark pants. Her hair was dark, shoulder length. Her face was visible in the reflection. Cross enlarged the frame. He enhanced the resolution. He submitted the image to the registry's visual analysis department. The analysis returned a match. The face in the mirror was the face of Miranda Sue, as it appears on her expired driver's license photograph. The image quality was sufficient for a positive identification. The woman in the mirror was Miranda Sue. She was standing in the shower, in a room that appeared empty to the camera, in a hotel that has no record of her reservation, on a date 7 months after she supposedly checked out. The mirror is a standard bathroom fixture. It was installed during the 2014 renovation. It is bolted to the wall. It is not special. It is not unusual. It is a mirror. Cross added a final note to the case file. He recommended that no further internal cameras be installed in room 614. His reasoning: the room is occupied. The occupant has a right to privacy. The fact that the occupant does not appear to exist in any official record does not negate the fact that the occupant is present, has been present for 7 months, and shows no indication of leaving. The registry does not evict occupants. The registry documents them. Case status: open. Monitoring ongoing. The room remains occupied. The guest remains in the room. Do not disturb.